Okay, let's really dig into something fascinating today. We're kind of seeing this powerful collision happening right now,
Yeah.
where music, activism, and the law are all sort of pushing against each other.
Yeah, it's a real flashpoint.
Have you ever wondered how far artistic expression can actually go,
Hmm.
especially when it directly bumps up against legal and political lines?
All the time. It's a constant tension.
Well, today we're taking a deep dive into a controversy involving an Irish rap trio.
Yeah.
They're already drawing some seriously bold comparisons to one of the most iconic politically charged bands ever.
And it's not just comparisons, is it? It's landed one of them in some pretty hot water legally.
Exactly, a terror charge, which is
Yeah.
quite something. So our mission here is to unpack this whole situation around Kneecap, that's the Irish rap trio,
Right.
and also this incredibly strong endorsement they got from Tom Morello,
Right.
from Rage Against the Machine.
Can't get much bigger than that in terms of political music cred.
Definitely not. So we'll explore the specific legal challenge, this terror charge one member's facing, the bigger picture implications of their art, their activism, really drawing on the details from the sources you've shared.
Yeah, looking at all the angles, the legal claims, the band's reaction, Morello's defense, it's complex.
Okay, so Kneecap, let's start there. An Irish rap trio really gaining a lot of steam.
Right.
Not just for the music, but for being incredibly outspoken politically.
Very outspoken. That's kind of their whole brand, really.
And it's one thing to get attention, but then, like you said, Tom Morello weighs in, a total legend in that political music space.
Mhm.
His endorsement here feels really significant.
Oh, absolutely. He didn't mince words. He actually called Kneecap the rage against the machine of now.
Wow.
Yeah. And praised them for speaking truth to power. Said they're at the top of the list, and there's a gap to the next one.
That's a massive statement, especially coming from him. He knows what it means to use music that way.
He certainly does. And it's precisely that outspokenness, that, commitment to speaking their truth, that's put one member, Mo Chara, his real name's Liam Ocute, right in the middle of this serious legal fight.
Right. The terror charge.
Exactly. He's currently on bail for it. And, when you hear terror charge, it carries a specific legal weight. It's different from maybe other protest charges because it implies supporting certain designated groups.
Okay, so what's the actual incident? What are they alleging happened?
Well, what's interesting is how specific the prosecution is trying to be. They're distinguishing between like general political views and this very specific accusation about supporting what's called a proscribed organization.
A prescribed organization.
Yeah.
So that means a group officially banned by the government.
Precisely. A group the government has officially designated as terrorists, basically, making supporting them illegal. The allegation itself comes from a gig they played back in November 2024. O2 Forum Kentish Town in London.
Okay. And the prosecutor, Michael Bisgrove, he made a point of clarifying things in court, didn't he?
He did. It's actually crucial to get this part right. He said, and I'm quoting loosely here, but the gist was, look, this isn't about Mr. hAnnaidh supporting Palestine or criticizing Israel. He can do that. Anyone can.
Right. So he was drawing a line.
A very clear line. He then said, essentially, the allegation here is totally different. It's about a video recording that shows Mr. hAnnaidh wearing and displaying the flag of Hezbollah.
Which is a prescribed organization.
Exactly. While saying, up Hamas, up Hezbollah. So the prosecutor stressed, support for Palestine isn't the same as support for Hezbollah in this legal context.
Okay.
The whole case, he argued, centers on the apparent support of a proscribed terrorist organization.
And Mo Chara, the band member, what's his status now?
He was released on unconditional bail. His next hearing is set for August 20th. So it's very much an ongoing situation.
Okay. So given how serious these accusations are, how have Kneecap themselves reacted?
Yeah.
And their supporters? It sounds like a very public fight.
Oh, the response has been, well, pretty much what you might expect if you know the band. Incredibly strong, really defiant.
How so?
They put out a statement on Instagram about the charge. Said, we deny this offense and will vehemently defend ourselves. Straight up.
No ambiguity there.
None. And they framed it immediately, called it political policing and a carnival of distraction.
A carnival of distraction. Wow.
Yeah, and they explicitly linked it to the bigger picture, saying something like 14,000 babies are about to die of starvation in Gaza, food sitting behind a wall, and the British establishment is focused on us.
So really positioning it as a deflection from other major issues.
Absolutely. And they finished the statement super defiantly. We are on the right side of history. You are not. We will fight you in court. We will win.
That is quite the stance to take mid-legal battle, positioning themselves on the right side of history. how do you read that kind of statement from the sources?
Well, it's clearly a tactic, right? Frame it as political, not just legal. It's classic activism, rally your base, control the narrative, especially with charges like these.
Makes sense. Shift the focus.
Exactly. Shift it from the legal nitty gritty to this broader moral humanitarian argument. Try to undermine the prosecution's motives. And, it seems like it landed with their fans.
How so? Was their support shown?
Big time. When Mo Chara showed up for court, his bandmates were there. Noise O. Karyaline and JJ O. Darshatai, but also apparently hundreds of supporters.
Hundreds.
Yeah, turned up in solidarity. There were calls of free Palestine as he was leaving the court, so a very visible show of support.
But it hasn't all been positive, right? The sources mentioned some backlash.
No, definitely not all positive. This whole thing has had real consequences. Several of their shows got canceled because of the controversy.
Right.
But they still showed up. They played Glastonbury, the Westholt stage, end of June. That was despite some MPs actually calling for them to be banned from the festival. So resilient, you could say.
Definitely sounds like it. Okay, so let's circle back to Tom Morello. His defense has been pretty solid throughout this, hasn't it? How does his perspective fit into this whole charged conversation?
Yeah, this is like classic Morello. He's not just defending them vaguely, he's drawing a really clear line, trying to shift the whole frame.
How do you put it?
He stated flat out, they are not terrorists. Simple as that. And his reasoning was essentially what they're doing in their art. That's what maybe more people should do in their lives, actually speak truth to power.
Okay, so defending the act of speaking out.
Exactly. But then he went further. He really redirected the whole conversation. He said something like, you want to talk terroristic. What's terroristic is, 20,000 dead Palestinian children. That's the story.
Wow.
Yeah. He basically said, not some Irish rappers who don't like that that's happening. That should not be the story. It's pure Morello, pure rage against the machine, fits perfectly with their history of using their platform to challenge power, talk about injustice.
So he's not just supporting Kneecap the band, he's endorsing their approach and pointing fingers elsewhere.
Precisely. He's saying their actions are a response to what he sees as this much larger humanitarian crisis. He's reframing the whole debate.
So, okay, what does all this really mean then? For artists, operating in the political sphere today, especially when you're facing allegations this serious.
Well, it really shines a light on this tightrope artists have to walk now, doesn't it? It's not just about like free speech in the abstract.
Right. It feels more complicated.
It's about how governments are defining and maybe enforcing boundaries around expression that really pushes back against the status quo, and how quickly a performance, something artistic, can be viewed through a very different, very legal lens.
Yeah, that's insightful. It's like the interpretation becomes the liability.
That's exactly. Is this case really just about enforcing one specific law about flags and proscribed groups? Or is there an element here, as the ban claims, of policing thought, policing dissent? It's a tough question.
So what we've tried to do today is really peel back those layers for you. Go beyond the headlines, try and grasp the legal points, the counter arguments, everything colliding here.
Yeah, this intense situation with Kneecap, the specific terror charge, their really defiant reaction.
And then this powerful defense from a rock icon like Tom Morello, seeing them as basically modern activists.
Yeah. Which really leaves us with a big question, I think, for all of us, really.
What's that?
Well, in this world, just saturated with information, complex global stuff happening, how do we, as individuals trying to make sense of it all, how do we navigate that line, the line between artistic expression, political protest, and then actions that get perceived, legally or otherwise, as supporting really controversial groups?
Especially when the people involved, the band, the prosecution, someone like Morello, have such completely different takes on what the real story even is.
Exactly. Where do you draw the line? And who gets to draw it? It's something to think about.